Hello, welcome back to View from the Throne. I'm your host, Lorenza Nicole Molina, aka the Black Butterfly Queen, La Reina Mariposa Negra. And I just want to say before I get started, thanks for dropping in. Thanks for listening in. Thank you for any time you share this podcast with somebody. I appreciate it. I appreciate the time you take out for me. Like I say, every time you could have listened to anybody else, but you're here and you're listening and spending time with me. So thanks. I hope that this podcast finds you well. I hope it finds you on a good day. If it doesn't find you on the greatest day, I hope that it's a great break or a good break or, from everything that's going on around you. And yeah, well, let's get into it. So I had something else I wanted to talk about, and I don't know if I'll do this often, but there is a popular conversation happening in social media right now, right? And the popular conversation is kind of silly, but it's interesting when you think about the world's climate today when it comes to dating or relationships. Everybody's weighing in, married, single, what have you, situationships. And I just want to talk about the Cheesecake Factory situation. Okay, so I did watch the video. I did watch the full video of the lady with the Cheesecake Factory that refused to go to Cheesecake Factory. Um, she, now just give you context. Um, she was late. He waited for her an hour. She comes down an hour late, so they missed the reservation. And so he is still willing to spend time with her, but now they can't make the reservation. And she, I guess, had already told him that something happened at work for the reason why she was going to be late. So he was understandable. Um, so that's why he was patient with her and waited. And I thought that's polite because some people would be like, man, whatever. Um, so she comes down and then he pulls them up to the Cheesecake Factory. And she was like, I am not eating at the Cheesecake Factory for the first date. Now, mind you, you're getting to know this person one on one. Now, you probably have been texting back and forth and everything like that, but this is the first time you are going to be going on a date. She said, you don't take this to the Cheesecake Factory. And he was like, well, you were late. And she said, well, I explained it. He said, and I understood, and I waited for you an hour past the time that we should have left. And because of that, I could not take you to the original place. And this was the place I was going to take you. And she said, we should do that. Call them. And he was like, no, I'm not going to call them. She put him on her live. And she said she was talking to the ladies on her live saying, you see what I'm talking about? You don't take this to the Cheesecake Factory, all of that. And he was willing to even talk on her live, but it was just the disrespect, like, of it all when it came from her end. Ma'am, look, you were late, and he was understandable, and he still tried to take you somewhere. And the Cheesecake Factory is not a bad place. You know what I'm saying? She's like, you don't take this to the Cheesecake Factory. And this is the thing. The man looked a little younger than her. She looked a little older, and that's fine. She looked like she just kind of threw herself together a little bit. I'm not saying she looked sloppy, but you look like you eat at the Cheesecake Factory. I'm just saying, in my opinion. You look like everybody else. Is what I'm saying. You don't look like you're some type of royalty or whatever. And that's not to say that just because you're royalty, you're too good to eat at the Cheesecake Factory. She just looked like an everyday person that you could take to the Cheesecake Factory. I will eat at the Cheesecake Factory. What's wrong with the Cheesecake Factory? I like the Cheesecake Factory. It's got a whole bunch of different cheesecakes. First of all, that they have good food, good drinks. It's nice. It's intimate. It's not too intimate to where you can feel uncomfortable. It's a good first date to get to know somebody. If you're going out for the evening, it's not pressure. You know what I'm saying? But this just sparked a whole theme about where to take women on the first date. And then it's just been, and then it's just been getting worse. Like, then it sparked a whole nother thing about what men are not going to pay for, which is the back and forth, because he was willing to pay for an expensive restaurant and she didn't want to go to Cheesecake Factory after she made them miss the reservations. So, and what she had on, to me, if you're going to if you were expecting to go to an expensive restaurant, I didn't see the whole outfit, but I was like, no, that you can wear that to the Cheesecake Factory. That's not too dressed up. You know, of course, like I said, I didn't see the whole outfit, but from where the camera was, it looked like it's something that you can most definitely wear to the Cheesecake Factory and or anywhere else, on a nice day out or evening out. It would have been fine. He still took her home. A lot of guys today will leave you where you are. I mean, there's a lot of girls that are getting flued out and having to figure out how to get back home after they do not give what they need to give, what the guy's expecting. Okay. And so I thought it was polite of him. He was still being a gentleman. He still made sure he got her back to a place where she was safe, even though he did not agree with in the manner she was acting with him. And he said no, and I think that was important. And she changed her tune, you know. During that, just go watch the video about it and everything. Y'all, let me read this list. I'm going to read y'all the list of the things that somebody made. Now, they saying a woman made this. It could have been a dude playing games, but child, it's probably a female. I'm going to say female because as a woman, women, there's something else with that. Just like calling a man is different than calling him just a guy or a male. You know what I'm saying? Or, a dude. You know what I'm saying? Real men and real women, we move a little differently. We understand one another. We have respect for one another. This is not made by a woman. It's made by a female. Okay? This is just a female probably. Okay? Or a male. Probably. All right? So this is this is what it says. Number 1, Cheesecake Factory, of course. Applebee's, Chili's, Chipotle, Olive Garden. The movies. Your house. Now, I do agree with the house. I'm not going to somebody's. That's a safety thing. I don't think that's a good idea. We're going to chill at your house for a first date. No. Any fast food chain. Buffalo Wild Wings, Wingstop, Red Lobster, a buffet, IHOP. So if you put any fast food chain, okay. IHOP, Denny's, the gym, church. Huh. Starbucks, coffee dates, which usually are the safest ones to take because you can meet them up in the middle of the day, have a little coffee, maybe for even a brunch hour, have that, a brunch date. And it's usually a safer bet because then there's daylight, there's other people around, there's no pressure. Ice cream dates. So I guess Yummalicious, the yogurt is out. No yogurt dates, I guess, either, guys. Family functions. Okay, I can understand a family function because we're just now met. I don't need to meet your whole family the same day. That's a lot of pressure. Movie night, Netflix, Hulu, etc. Movie night, Netflix, Hulu, etc. Movie night is the same thing as saying you can't go to the movies or come to my house put together. So that is kind of redundant, this list. Somewhere that requires a long drive. I understand the long drive. In my early times, what is it, my college years or whatever, I went on a date and it was stupid. I should never got in a car. He wasn't harmful, but he drove too long for me to meet his friends. And that was too much. But he did bring me back to where I needed him to drop me off at. but I did not have him drop me off at my door. We were not doing that. But I understand long drives or going to the house. That has to do with safety. It's better to, if you can, um, meet in groups, meet in the daytime, meet and have your own car where you can meet pretty much. Um, I don't even know if I want you to see my car yet because I don't need you getting my license plate and all that stuff. Let's just be careful out there, right? Um, Bowling, nightclubs, hookah bar, a bar for just drinks, Waffle House, sports event. I can understand the club only because I can't hear you. So I can't talk. So maybe that's not the perfect first date. It's probably where you met them, is at the club or a hookah lounge. Okay. It's probably where you met them, out having fun. To me, if I met you in a place out having fun, I'm gonna think, okay, you will like that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna probably plan something that is close to that, but not exactly that. So if I met you at a club or something like that, I might plan to take you out to a lounging area, a lounge or something, because it's still music, it's still people, and we can still have a corner where we can have a conversation. Other than the taking you to the house, or, and I understand movies to a point, but I don't see a problem with a movie if it's part of a bigger thing. Um, because it's still a dark place with somebody you don't know, even though there's other people around, people can get touchy feely sitting next to you in the theater. So sometimes people take that as an opportunity to be touchy feely. So I understand when it comes to safety or comfort, you know. But when it comes to y'all, this list here, people just picking Cheesecake Factory, then where y'all going? If we can't go Cheesecake Factory, ice cream dates, then where's the list at what can be taken to? And I know y'all gonna put, no one, let me not say y'all. I know it's probably $500 here, $500 there. Why do you think you're entitled to somebody taking you $500 to anywhere? $300 date for the first date. Because let me tell you, a lot of couples, it's all about the vibe. This is what made them connect. Even people who dated for a long time and then they broke up, the reason why they were connected for a long time because of the vibes. And let's just put a twist on it. If he takes you to a expensive restaurant, $300 plus whatever, right? And are you willing to split the bill? Probably not. Probably not. And let's be honest, the women or females who agree with this full entire list, what can you afford anything above that's not on the list? Can you afford what you're asking him to do? You know what I'm saying? People need to be willing to bring what they want to be brought. You know what I'm saying? I know we all have a different role in life, and male and female, woman and man, whatever. But it's the audacity to me to say what you can't do. We come with too many expectations. And I say men sometimes do this too. We have expectations of somebody. If I do this for you, then you should do this for me. People are dating. People seem like they're dating, expecting more than they are having actual boundaries, because boundaries are something that you respect and give and also teach people to have for you. You don't expect it. You let people know, okay, this is what I can do. This is what I cannot do. If you're not good with that, that's fine. I'll move along. You know what I'm saying? Communication. But this is kind of silly. This is kind of silly in my opinion, because I just think it's ridiculous to expect somebody on a first date to take you to do all this to try to impress you. If y'all that's all you're worried about, then maybe you're not the right one for the date. Okay? It sounds like some of these people want, sugar daddies and want to be candy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I I don't agree, to say the least, with the majority of this list. The only things I agree with is when it comes to your safety and being wise. Now, this may be a joke, but somebody takes this list very seriously, okay? Now, As a rebuttal, as a rebuttal, the men came up with a list, or the guys, or the fellas, or the males, okay, came up with a list. And I want to see if y'all agree with this list, okay? And this list is based out of a list of things men refuse to pay for if they are not married to you. Bills. Once again, it's a redundant list because rent is a bill, but that's second on the list. But at the same time, sometimes we got to be specific, and maybe that's why it was, on the women's list, it seemed redundant, but they're trying to specify. So here we go. They're specifying bills, which is rent, house, car. I guess that would be mortgage, right? Hair, nails, bags, purses, jewelry, designer, I guess anything, vacations, furniture to go in your crib, not theirs, plastic surgery, bottles at the club, I don't know. Look, I don't know what that is. Pills, car repairs, food for other man's kids, gas, Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, snacks, your ties. Oops. Now I laughed at your ties because I thought it said something else, y'all. I thought it said because it was talking about plastic surgery, the BBLs and stuff. So I thought it said that get first, but it said ties. But that's still funny to me because all the things men have paid for. I never thought about that. Like because God know that you didn't pay your tithes. Somebody else paid your tithes for you. Now that's wonderful, nice. If they want to pay that, it's nice. But the list is a good rebuttal for the list. It's a good rebuttal. It's a good rebuttal. They're like, okay, then we can't take y'all here. Then we're not gonna pay for this since y'all so expensive. We gotta save all that money, take you to an expensive restaurant. I'm just assuming. And I don't really like to assume, but I'm just saying this is funny, y'all. This is funny. Guys. At the end of the day, this is hilarious. Both of these lists are hilarious to me. Anybody taking any of this seriously is funny to me too. It's the pettiness of it all, especially the second list. Man, the second list, your tires. I've never heard of nothing. I don't even know how to process that. Like, why are you paying her tithes? Baby, can you pay my tithes for me? Y'all just dating? Y'all not even like engaged or nothing, trying to mesh your money together. Y'all just dating and you paying her tithes? Tithes is not a bill. I mean, I understand why people see it as that because it is money coming out at 10%. But it comes off. You can write off your tithes if you didn't know. Make sure you get your slip from your church, okay, for your tithes. When you do your taxes, they will have it ready for you. They should, because that is a donation technically. But that's another story. But y'all, it was the tithes for me. That took me out. Okay. If y'all are just dating, I understand why you're not paying rent. She been doing that already. Plastic surgery. Car repairs. This is the thing. Me as a person, I think it's okay if you want to pay for those things as a man. But I think if you're going to be okay with the man taking care of those things for you, we all have to have respect for one another and to be appreciative because nobody in this world owes us anything. That is what the the most definite truth is. Nobody owes us anything. And as a woman, I can only speak as a woman. And I'm a woman, and I have several brothers. Okay, several. Okay, and one of the things I've learned growing up as a female, as a woman, a lady, that with my brothers is that I have watched people expect certain things from, and it would bother me because I'm like, why do you? It would bother me first as their sister, but then when I start noticing this is a as a culture, we have been brainwashed to assume that we should expect certain things. Now, there's certain things you should expect as a woman. You should expect, it is your right to be respected, your space be respected, your conversation to be respected. When you are speaking, being heard, listen to you in response, not being ignored or treated like, an accessory. But also on the flip side, we can't keep treating males or men, because sometimes you can't tell at at the first. You got to take time to get to know people, but we can't keep expecting males or men as to be our check when we don't even know them, first of all. You know what I'm saying? When you get into marriage and all that stuff, and y'all have an agreement, y'all have a certain way of doing things because it's culturally different. But when you are getting to know someone, anyone, even if this is your friend that you get to know, and even when it comes to kids and parents, at some point you can't just expect people to do stuff for you. Why should they? You know what I'm saying? Why? And I say parents at some point because if that parent has done their job or did their best, because sometimes parents are just people first that are trying to raise another person. That's really what a parent is. It's just a person raising another person, and that person is going to be imperfectly raising another person, and all those things that you didn't like, you're going to have to go figure out for yourself. Probably even with the best intentions and the best parent, there's always certain things that you're going to have to go through as a person that you're going to have to just walk through to learn for yourself as an adult. That's just how it is. No matter how good the parent is because of every year, every generation deals with different things in their economy. They deal with different things in the world. So there's always going to be something that no matter what your parents gave you, that it's going to have to be you to do it. Like your mom, your dad can't do it for you. And I think that in society, we are so big on pointing fingers, and we are so big at saying what the world owes us, when really nobody in this world, when you are a grown person especially, owes you squat. They don't owe us anything. Now, they only owe us the right to live. That's it. And what I mean by that is everybody, there should not be some tier of privilege or this. We all have birthright to live, explore, and become and be great. We don't have the right. We have the will sometimes, but we don't always have the right to hurt or harm other people. In our will, we do things. In our free will, we make mistakes and we make choices. But it doesn't mean that just because we have free will, that we have right to harm one another, or we have right to expect something from another person that we don't even know. And I really want people to really think about why they think that they should expect something from somebody. He need to prove himself. Why does he have to prove? What did he do to have to prove himself? Let people show you who they are, and then make your decision. If he ain't willing to do A, B, C, and D, then he can't be around me. Well, do you want a relationship, or do you just want somebody to pay your bills? Because then clarify that. Because some dudes, they be like, okay, if that's their agreement, I pay your bills, but you got to do A, B, and C, and D for me. Whatever the agreement is, you got to abide by it if you want certain things. So if you want him to do this, he may need you to do that. And you can't say, oh, you're being controlling, you're being male chauvinistic. No, this is a partnership. This is a business deal. This is not about a relationship. This is not about love. But if you really think about business is based out of relationship. Is the title and the vision of that relationship that you are making business deals out of. So if this is the title of the relationship that we put on it, we sit down, we say, this is what we want to agree upon. That's an agreement. So if you're going to expect something, you have to understand that everything costs a price. You want something from somebody, or you expect something, you better expect to give something for that, whatever it is. When people decide to do for you because you are kind, because you are loving, because you are sweet, because you make it a safe space for them, that's what you gave. Now they want to give to you. But walking around with a chip on your shoulder, expecting everybody to show up and do what they need to do, and when they don't, you judge them, when really you didn't give them nothing to want to fight for. You didn't show them what you didn't. And I'm saying this about anybody. Nobody wants to be treated as if when they show up in anybody's life that they have to do something for them to prove themselves. Somebody come to me talking about I got to prove myself. You can take that to your mama house. You really can. Take it out my face, okay? Don't come over here in my life after all the hell and high water I've had to walk through and tell me you expect me to do A, B, C, and D because of my gender. People are human first. Human. They bleed. They have feelings. They have pain. You cannot paint all humans with the same brush. Because if that's the case, then we'll all be the same exact color. We'll all speak the same exact language. We'll all have the same exact background. Everything will be the Pleasantville of the world. Okay. Everything will be exactly the same if it was painted with the same brush. That everybody is made the same. And granted, it is hard out here to have good friends, good relationships, good parents. It is hard out here, but you got to be what you're looking for. And I know that sounds stupid at this point. It sounds very typical. It sounds very, after school special. But I'd rather be what I'm looking for and be what I'm looking for by myself, okay? Or than to be around people that I gotta one up. Like, who has energy for that? Or I gotta demand that they do this. No, you don't have the right to demand anything but your birthright, which is to live in peace. But to do that, you gotta be a person of peace. I'm really, as a person, and I know I'm not the only one, tired of hearing people have all these expectations of so many people, and we're so quick to point at everybody else's toxicity and red flags, but we will not look at ourselves. We're so quick to point at how we got to cut off everybody else, but we won't cut off our old man. We're so quick to do that. Do you realize that all those people that may have or may not have been a distraction to you that's all they are, is really a distraction. But who you are, whether you be good, bad, or ugly, wonderful, or nice, right? You allow those people around to a point. You have to be accountable for the type of people you keep allowing in your life. You can't keep blaming everybody for the decisions. Well, I'm a nice person. Yeah. But do you have the need to feel like you got to rescue everybody? Because that validates your value. And so you keep allowing the people that are broken, beyond repair, or emotionally unavailable to you to be in your world, because if you can help them, then that's your challenge, and now you feel like you have value. And so you're really using their brokenness to validate you. But at the end of the day, you blame them for how they treated you, but you keep allowing the same type of person wrapped in a different package with a different bow come into your world. Because that's the beacon you keep putting out. And you keep allowing it because it distracts from what you really need to face. Your own brokenness, your own pain. At some point, this started off because somebody did hurt you and you didn't see it coming. At one point, You were the innocent bystander. You were honestly the victim, but you can't keep being the victim. That's what is real. That's what's real. You ain't gonna like what I say, and that's fine. Or you may need it. But we play the victim. Women and men, humans, people, even teenagers, children, we are teaching the world that all we are just victims. Everybody, everybody owe us something. Even kids, sometimes they don't appreciate their parents. They don't, sometimes. Kids don't know how much they can hurt a parent's heart. They're unaware, but guess what? It's because of their immaturity, meaning their unawareness. Sometimes they're not grown enough to understand those things. They're not old enough to understand how that feels. They are so untrained. They haven't been in a position yet. So where that falls into, sometimes you got to give them room. You got to explain things to them sometimes. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes you got to let life happen, and that will show them, you know. But when it comes to everybody else, when it comes to how we treat one another, we just expect so much. And one of the things I want to be able to do, I want to be able to talk about the femininity toxicity without the crutch of, well, also men do this too. I don't, because sometimes it's not about them. We'll make a post about our healing, and a man will come in and talk about some of their sorrows or whatever, or have an opinion about it. This ain't about y'all, just about us. But when we talk about our accountability, then we always have to also bring in the man. Like, I remember I was at a meeting at at church or whatever, and it wasn't a official church meeting like that. It was just some people from the church that we were meeting with and talking with and everything. And this woman, she was talking about Adam and Eve and all this stuff, and how, the fall and all that stuff. And my fixation was, and I'm really not trying to be a pick me, y'all. That's not what it is. I just want us to love ourselves better as women, so we have so much power to heal this world as women. We have so much power to heal one another. There's a lot of damage that we've done to each other that we blame men for. We have hurt one another. We have sat there and talked bad about one another, and we blame men for that. Well, if it weren't for men, but it doesn't matter what somebody did back then. Who are you going to be today? What do you want to be? And if that woman is not ready to rise to the occasion, leave her where she at. Love her from afar. Maybe not. I don't know. But leave her where she is, and love you up close. Sometimes we got to love ourselves up close and love other people from afar. Because when I brought up this situation about Eve being accountable, that woman nearly ripped my head off. She got upset with me, and I feel like the way I brought it up might have been a trigger for her because of whatever she was dealing with. It doesn't mean that there was places in her life where she wasn't accountable, but there may have been a place in her life where she needed to be accountable, and it touched on that, and I was unaware of that. Because it doesn't mean just because we need to talk about accountability that we don't know how to be accountable in places. It's just that some things in some places we feel like we have right to not be accountable for. And no human in this world has a right to not be responsible for the energy and the way they make other people feel. We always want to hold people accountable for the wrongs that they do, but we got to hold ourselves accountable for what we do. Yes, it's wonderful you're responsible. It's wonderful that you pay your bills, but that doesn't mean you're being accountable for who you are as a person. Your nasty way of talking to somebody. You're not being responsible for your energy. You're being responsible for your bills. You show up to your kids' games, but when your child makes you mad, are you accountable for how you make them feel? Do you go back and apologize if you said something out of turn? Are you showing them how they need to be treated and how they don't need to allow other people to treat them? Because as parents, we set a standard. As women, we set it. We show our sons what we need to what they should expect. The way you talk to your son, if a female talk to him like that, and when he gets older, Is it going to bother you? You're going to be okay with it. And then we say, that ain't my fault. He chose who he wanted to choose. But if you was his example, maybe you have a little bit to do with it. Maybe you don't. But you can at least say, I did my best to be accountable for the way I made my children feel. I did my best to be accountable because my sons are also men in training. They're not just my kid. They're not my possession. I have to be accountable for them. I have to be accountable for a soul, for a mind, for a heartbeat. They are not just objects. Would you want somebody to come and just, after your son, you saw him work hard. Maybe he didn't have his father. Maybe he didn't have these things. And you had to push him through and build him up so much. Then see another woman come up in his life and tear him down and tell him what he needs to do for her. Don't you dare take me, like he's not good enough for her when you saw what he had to fight through. How would you feel if someone told your son, don't take me to no Cheesecake Factory? That ain't even good enough. How would you feel if a woman just wanted your son to pay all her bills, but she didn't talk to him with any respect? How would you feel about that? There's so much silliness going on. We expect so much. And it's not to say we don't go through stuff, but that part I always got to say, when I bring up something about women, we always have to bring up how we go through stuff. We know we go through stuff. We know how the pay, how they do us about the pay. The pay gap. We know how there's more of us likely to be kidnapped and sold into sex trafficking and things like that. We know about that. We know that that's real, that there's more of it, but it doesn't keep the fact that there's still little boys being raped and sold into sex trafficking. There's still young teenage boys who of melanin persuasion, okay, meaning brown and black, who get kidnapped more to sell, for their organs to be sold on the black market. It doesn't change the fight that they have just because we have a fight. Our fight does not negate their fight. And some of the things that we do, we are toxic to one another. Everybody wants this privilege. But everybody wants this privilege. You know what privilege is? It's standing up, knocking somebody who's taller than you down to their knees and saying, I'm better than you. Now I'm above you. Because you felt threatened by their height. When that was just who they are. Their height never said that they were above you. You took their height as an insult. So you brought them down to their knees just so that you could feel bigger because of your insecurity of the height that you have. Because somebody told you somewhere along your along life, in some way, shape, or fashion, that you weren't as valuable as them because they were taller than you. So now all the tall people got to suffer. That's what privilege is. It's making everybody suffer for your insecurity so that you can feel better. Creating a system that fits your insecurity, that validates it so you don't have to be accountable. You know who else has that? That's what we also call with white privilege. Systemic racism. The things that we go through. We are regurgitating the same attitude against male and female. The same attitude, I expect you to work like a horse for me because I am just woman. I am just female. I don't have to respect you. I don't have to talk to you with a kind word. I don't have to be loving to you. I don't know you like that. But you expect him to operate like he knows you like that. And I know that some of this comes from having to check men because this one, he's over here messing with this one and all that stuff. Take a step back, sis. Just take a step back. And I don't even like saying sis to everybody, but I'm going to say this time. Take a step back, sis, from all of that. Find you some good homegirls. Find you some people that are going to hold you accountable so that you can be the best version of yourself, so that you can love yourself the way you want to. You do not need to be perfect. You just got to be better. You got to work at being the best version of yourself. Nobody is going to be perfect. Not a man, not a woman. None of us are going to be perfect. We all have things we need to work on. We all have hang-ups. We all got issues. Nobody's going to be perfect. It's just not, because our idea of perfection ain't even perfect. It's rigid. It's boxed in. There's no room to be creative. There's no room for color. There's no room for warmth in our idea of perfection in this world. The best thing you can ever be is yourself. And if you ugly about something, be honest. I'm ugly about this thing. But don't just be honest about it. Fix it. Change it. Do better. Want that for yourself. Want that for yourself. Why don't you want it for yourself? Can't nobody make us more happy. Man, when you do stuff for yourself, when you love on yourself right, you feel so good. That's so rewarding. And honestly, no matter how many bills he paid, no matter how many bags he get, you carrying that weight on your shoulder is never going to take it away. If he had all the money in the world and he paid for everything, you still was unhappy because you ain't doing nothing that has purpose for yourself. They say that men or young boys are more likely to commit suicide. And the reason is when men and boys feel like they don't have a purpose, they leave. And when we devalue the purpose of a man, what reason does he have to stay? But on the flip side, a woman will slowly die, be bitter in life. Some of us commit suicide. I tried. Thank God I didn't. Because we all need a purpose. We all need to know that we have value to add into this world. And if you're not in a place to love people right because you're so angry about who hurt you, maybe you need time to just be angry and get through that. Because there's nothing wrong with being upset. The only problem with being upset is when you start acting on it. The only problem with being angry is when you start hurting people that didn't even do nothing to you. When you start deflecting what somebody else did to you on people who are innocent. Now you have become what hurt you. They say hurt people hurt people. You know why there's so many pedophiles in this world? It's because a lot of those kids were just innocent kids that got attacked and assaulted. And it changed them forever. And now they're stuck in a loop. And nobody has sympathy for them. Because now they're this what they became. But maybe if somebody would have taken the time for that little boy that got assaulted and made it okay for him to cry and heal instead of making him feel bad about it. Give him the space where it's okay. And not call him a punk behind it. Not say he's lying. Not telling him to man up. Maybe he would have been to heal from that. Maybe his mind would have been able to mend. He probably would have never been the same. But maybe he could have still been great. We just say anything, but don't want nobody to say anything to us. We tell these boys all this crap. We tell girls, oh, just because you got they should do everything for you. You should do nothing. The fact of the matter is we're supposed to just take care of one another. Whatever that looks like for that relationship. True and honest love. Compassion. And women, we need to make better room for our sons and our daughters to express their pain, to express their joy. And if we have a difficult time with that, it is a mirror that maybe we need to do some work. And it's okay to apologize to them because you don't want them to have the issues you have, right? Or is it that you feel like it's unfair that you with it, so let me bring them down too? We got to be conscious of the way we treat one another. I'm sorry that they hurt you. I'm sorry that it was messed up what they did. They raped you, they beat you, they did these things to you, male or female. But I'm so tired of seeing men losing it. Because there's never been, not even by other men, a safe space for them to heal, for them to be treated as human. They have a saying that women, dogs, and children all get compassion. But men just are just expected to show up. And with this list, it's proven that scenario to be true. There's so many good men out here trying, y'all. And you're not giving them a chance because of the ones that hurt you. Nobody is in the same category. No woman, no man, no male, no female. We're not in the same category. We're all different. We can't keep blindly swiping the paintbrush saying this is all men, this is all females, this is all women. Yeah, we all gonna have some similarities because we female. Yes, we're gonna have some similarities. You're gonna have some similarities because you're males. But character traits, nah. It's scary out here. It's hard to trust people. Even as our homegirls, like, we hurt one another. And I keep saying this. Where is the safe space to just be human? Men need to check men and women need to check women at this point. We keep trying to check each other, but let's face it. Men need to check the boys. And women, we need to check the girls. That's it. Check your sisters. They out of line, tell them. They don't like it, they can kick rocks. Because that energy, it weigh you down. People calling you at 3 o'clock in the morning because they don't want to change things. But you got to go work on your purpose. Bro don't want to change and he don't want to never listen. But you got to go work on your purpose. Bro, you just going to leave me behind? Are you a victim, bro? Do you got 2 hands? You got 2 feet? Are you going to work for it, bro? Sis, you got 2 hands? You got 2 feet? You going to change your attitude, sis? Like, what you going to do about it? Don't call me at 3 o'clock in the morning after you asked me for this advice 3 years ago and you still doing the same thing. 3 months ago, still doing the same thing. I can understand we're not perfect. I understand that we got traumas. Traumas and imperfections don't scare me. Nothing scares me. But you know what? What bothers me, though, is people who ain't willing to grow. People who always want to blame everybody. People who are willing to hurt somebody just to protect their trauma. And then when you get by yourself with it real good, because you done kicked everybody out your life, thinking they were the problem, now you scared. Because now you ain't got no allies if you fight that demon. Because real friends, when you're trying to grow, you're trying to change something, they'll have your back for real. I know. Because I've had good ones and bad ones. And I've always done my best to love the ones that I have while they're with me. Now, because I'm just so great, I've learned to be better. I've had to be held accountable for my brokenness. And I'm one of those people, if I feel like my brokenness is going to hurt you, I got to let me back away from you real quick. It's not you, it's me. Let me back away. Let me work on myself because I saw something in myself. I saw what I wanted to do. And it didn't look good. It looked like a problem. And it looked like it was my problem. And then I'd rather walk away from you and you still be whole than me be the one that breaks you. I don't want to be the one that break you just because I can be accountable. This is why a lot of times I spend a lot of time to myself. I got to work on me. I got to get better at being whatever I'm supposed to be. I got to. I can't be sitting here talking to y'all and I can't do it myself. I can't sit here and act like I'm not a mother of 2 sons. I can't sit here and act like all the men that matter to me in my life don't matter. I can't sit here and not be accountable for that. I can't sit here and say I love us as women and want to see us win and not hold us accountable for the BS that we have bought into in the way we treat our young kings, and ourselves. We are so much greater than the bad attitudes we have. We have gifts that are extraordinary, but our character tears us down every time. We keep blaming people for that, for falling, when it has been the character that keeps ripping you out of your place. Your gift will make room for you, set you in front of great men. But your attitude will get you demoted faster and kicked out the door sooner than you ever thought. The ink won't even be dried on the contract before they're like, yo, stop. Can't work with you. Your attitude bad. Some of y'all have experienced this. Being so quick and snap. I mean, it spilled over. Your pain is spilled over into your professional life, your life with family members, children, at the grocery store. How many things have to be swallowed up by the attitude that is projected out of you due to the pain of what somebody did to you? How many things you got to lose? How many people you got to lose and then find out that you should have, they pass and you never got to apologize? How many people, how many things are you have to allow to be ruined by your bad attitude? Your money is funny, not because you don't work. You actually a hard worker, diligent worker. You show up on time, but it's your attitude. Nobody wants to do nothing with you. It's not that you don't have the gift. You're really good at it, but nobody wants to ask you to help with those things or those projects because they're not willing to pay the price of dealing with your attitude. Dealing with your victim is always, I'm always the victim. I'm always this. That's why nobody's working with you. You want to know why people are not working with you? It's not because you don't got the gift. It's not because you're not a hard worker. It's not because you won't show up on time. It's not that. It's your attitude. Your attitude is the problem. You wonder why people don't really, you're lost on it, why people keep walking away from you. Your attitude, your integrity has not been checked. Well, if there's not been a friend brave enough to tell you, I'm going to tell you today, let me be your friend. Let me be your sister for real and tell you, check your attitude, sis. Work on your heart, sis. You want a better life? You got to create the atmosphere that you want to see in the world in the home that you live in. And that is the house of your heart and the physical place you live every day. You're not weak just because you decide to be kind. It takes strength to be kind. Because you're being kind for yourself. I know we feel like we got to protect ourselves because so many people have hurt us. Let me tell you, from one sis that I did not trust nobody. I didn't trust women. I didn't trust men. I didn't trust nobody. People hurt me. They publicly shamed me. They lied on me. They tried to ruin what I was trying to work on for myself. They talked against my children and my family. Even some family didn't have my back. Where were they when I needed them? But at the end of the day, there's so much more to this life than those moments. And I want to know what that is. And after all of that BS that people put me through, I think I deserve to know. But I can't have it if I let what they did make me have a attitude so bad nobody can stand to be around me. So my gift never gets to come to fruition fully. I get to show up in the room, but I don't get to stay. I don't want to lose out on things because of what people did to me. I refuse to be less than what I am because of what people did to me. I deserve to know what's good in life, especially after what people did to me. I refuse to carry the attitude and the pain of what people did and let that devour me and create in me some monstrous, nasty attitude where I think everybody owes me something because I wasn't willing to go heal. Yes, it's unfair that you got to heal yourself after somebody cut you when you didn't bring the knife. Yes, it's unfair, but don't you deserve to know it? You're doing this for you, not for them. Even if they apologize, it probably still wouldn't heal the wound because do you notice that even when we get cut in life, physically cut, like we cut our hand on the door or whatever, our body is the thing that responds to the cut. That's what scars are. And platelets and skin platelets and blood clots coming together to seal it up. Your body responds to when somebody does something to it. So that means that your soul needs to respond, which is your mind. What do I do about this thing? My heart needs to respond when they hurt me. I need to figure out how I need to go on. It doesn't mean you need to be accountable for what they did to you. You just got to be accountable for your own healing. Because some people are never going to apologize and they're never going to care. But don't you become one of those people because you deserve to be the person that you were always meant to be. I believe when God says he created us in his image, God is love itself. And God created all these things in Genesis to be God after itself. The fruit trees to have the same type of fruit, and the fish to have the same type of, the fish, and, water creates rain, creates dew, creates mist, creates clouds. It separate, but everything creates something after its seed. Every seed creates something after itself. And then on the sixth day, after he had all these things, the vegetation create same vegetation after itself. An acorn tree creates another acorn tree. He said, let us make man in our image. Meaning he created us after himself. Meaning if we're made in his image, we reflect him, then we were made out of love to be produced so that we can continue to produce. And we're not operating in that. We don't truly see all that we can do or conquer. But it takes God to know we can because he's the original copy. The moon cannot shine without the sunlight. We cannot see the beauty of how the moon looks without the light shining on it. We are God's moon and he is the sun. For us to know what we are capable of, we got to face him to see. Our feelings tell us more about that God feels. He knows. His example of that was Jesus. 100% God, 100% himself. We were created out of love. People say, well, what's my purpose? To be loved by God. He created to share and multiply his love with us. And created us to be able to do the same. He wants us to know who he is so we can love him back. By choice. He doesn't even he doesn't even force his own will on us. He encourages us. He says, if you do this, then this is what it be. Choose ye this day who you're going to serve. He tells you to choose. You have choice. He wants to be chosen like you want to be chosen to be loved. Have you ever thought that the absence you feel is how God feels missing you? That God may be missing you. He misses you. He wants time with you. He wants to love on you. He wants to hear what they did. He was not okay with what they did to you, but he does not want you to do what was done to you, because we are creatures that are made to produce what we have been given. And if we've been given pain, then we're going to, more likely, if we don't deal with that, give it to somebody else. He wants us to truly know how he loves us so we can walk in who we are. I believe that the best part of us is hidden behind the heartbeat of God. That to really know who you are, you got to search out and understand his love more and more. And the more you understand his love, the more you understand who you are. The more you understand how much he loves you. The more you understand why no one can be you. How important you are. And if you were the only one that he could save, he would have done the exact same thing. That you matter to him. That his eye is on you, looking at you. He did never turn his head away from you. He never left you. People did. People messed up because, once again, they have the ability to choose what they're going to do. And those choices were not made by God. Some of those things were made by people because of their hurt. The enemy was nowhere around because they were hurt by somebody else, and that seed was planted a long time ago. They keep hurting. But you are better than what hurt you. You are God's creation. You are God's child, made in his image. Nothing in this world, in this universe, in this eternity is made after the image of God. You represent a part of it no one else can. And he loves all of himself. So he loves all. And the only way for us to really understand that is he has to be our example of love. And at the end of the day, out of all the things that people have done to you or whatever you did to somebody, all he wants is you. That's all he ever wanted was you. He just wanted you. That's all he ever wanted was you. Just give him everything. Don't think that you're too messed up to go to God. Don't think that you're not good enough. God doesn't put that stipulation on you. People have done that. But you were good enough. That's why he made you. He made you to spend time with him and to share that wonderful experience with others. That's your gift. That's your purpose. You find it all in him. You don't know who you are. He's here. If you're listening to this and you've never decided to know who he was for yourself, but you wonder, you can ask him, God, I want you to live in my heart. Come into my heart and live in me. I believe that your son Jesus came for me because because of sin or because of this world, the things in it separated us from you, separated us from getting to know who you are. And I don't really understand everything, but I know that you do. And I believe that you say you are who you say you are, and your son is who you say he is. And I want to know what you mean by love. I asked God this, and he started teaching me. I had somebody really close to me pass away that was like a father. And I knew God, but I ain't know God like I know him now. And when he passed, there were so many things I wish I would have said. I didn't even realize how much I loved him like a father. I knew I did, but I just didn't realize he was gone. And I had to deal with so much without him. I wish that on nobody. And that's when I asked God to show me what my father, my godfather, what he meant by God's love, because this man loved God. He actually opened up a church called Tender Love and Care right before he passed. And I said, I want to know what he meant by, I want to know how he loved you. I want to know what that was like. What he meant by your tender love and care. He talked about it so much. I want to know it for myself. This is when God started teaching me. He was the one that told me I needed to forgive, and I didn't realize I had all this pain in me because it was so much stacked on top of each other. I was just used to living with it. And now, here I am. Now I know what tender love and care really meant. And his ministry that he created, he had no idea that he was really giving me a template on how to operate for the rest of my life. And I am grateful for him to this day. And guess what? He was a man of God. Was he perfect? No. Did he make mistakes? Sure. But I know he did his best with what he knew and that he loved me. So that legacy of tender love and care is a part of my walk with God, is a part of my effort, is a part of the thing that I use to check myself. I am a better woman because I asked God to show me what he meant, my godfather meant when he said, tender love and care, when he talked about God's love. There have been others. I've had more than one father in my life. From my day of my birth, this man was not even my biological father, and I didn't even know it because how he loved me. My best friend growing up, her dad, how he protected me. 3 of those men are gone now. But they love me unconditionally. And I want to be able to love my sons and the man in my life and the men's in my life unconditionally. I want to love my husband unconditionally. I want to love my sons unconditionally, my brothers unconditionally, and the fathers and my cousins. And I want to love my sisters properly and unconditionally. I want to be good towards people. And I know I ain't going to be perfect. That's why I still pick up my crown. Because, baby, that thing tilts. It been cracked a couple of times. It hadn't had to get repaired. But it's mine. And it's still beautiful. I sit it right on my head. You ain't got to be perfect. You got to be willing. You ain't got to be perfect. You just got to try. Be the best version that you can be in the moment. And don't you dare even compare your best today to your best the day before. Don't compare it because you're a whole nother person and it's a whole nother situation. Just do what you can. If you got to walk away from the situation, just walk away, honey. But I believe in you. I know there's so many of us out here. We tired. We've been in pain. But you better than your pain. You better than what they did to you. And maybe right now you don't want to be better. Maybe right now you got to sit with that for a little bit. But girl, don't sit with it too long. Because you don't want to miss out on what always belong to you. Your peace, your joy, your happiness, your purpose, and most of all, the experience of God on another level that you can never think of or imagine. The greatest gift in this world, the best thing you could ever do. No matter how many men you stand before, is to stand before God and tell him yes. It's the best thing and the best day of your life. Every time you tell him yes, you've done something else amazing. Well, that's all I got to say about all of this. It went in a whole nother direction than I thought it would go. But that's how sometimes these things go. I appreciate you stopping in. I appreciate you listening. Thank you for taking time out to hear me. Because you could have been anywhere else, but you came here. Thank you for sharing. If you decide to share, please do. Please subscribe, add, tag, whatever, follow. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on TikTok. Instagram. Um, Instagram is Black Butterfly Queen, the Black Butterfly Queen. Butterfly Kisses. And TikTok is Black Butterfly Kisses. IG is Black Butterfly Kisses, and IG is also the Black Butterfly Queen. On there, you can see all my other links on my link tree for anything else on my YouTubes and all that stuff. Lorenza Nicole Molina. So you can see all that on there. But once again, thank you for stopping by. And just remember, no matter how much that crown tilt, baby, pick that thing up, pick it up out the mud, put it back on your head, and keep pushing because you got this, because God got you. Okay? All right. I'll talk to you guys later. And be safe and Godspeed. Bye.